Hello and welcome to a video where I'm going to be trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit. Basically, I have a coworker who wanted me to teach him how to solve the Rubik's Cube, so I gave him a set of algorithms and as an instruction page on a notepad. I'm going to probably overlay those pictures onto here. And he was having trouble with it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just directly follow it. I have them on my phone. He has the notepad original, but I have it on my phone. So what I'm going to do is just follow the instructions on my phone, following the algorithms on there exactly to the T, and we're going to go. So number one is make a cross. So I'm going to take the green side here, and I'm going to try and make a cross. Now this is something I do intuitively. There's not a algorithm, there's just kind of knowing how to set it up, and there you go. You've got this cross or plus sign, whatever you want to call it. Plus sign, cross, whatever. Doesn't matter about the corners right now. All we're concerned about is getting that. So now we'll place that on top of it. That'll be the top section of the cube. And now we are moving on to the next step here, which is to match the tips of the cross. So to match the tips of the cross, what we need to do, the tips of the cross meaning these, because if you look, cross, tip of the cross there, so you can see none of them are matched up. So the first thing we'll try and do is turn the top, rotating the top, and see if we can match any up. Rotate again, and they're all matched up. So that's inconvenient for us for the sake of demonstration, but that's how you would want it. That's how you want it to look, is having all the tips matched up. The purpose of this is these centers never move. So we're orienting the green side to the other sides via this. We're kind of matching it up in a direct line that way. This will always be the red side, this will always be the white side, and we're starting to get it processed. But what I'm going to do, there we go, is make it to where it has a more common scenario, which is sometimes you'll have it to where it just solved itself. Sometimes you'll have it like this, where this one's solved, or this one's unsolved, but then you have two that are catty-corner to each other that are solved. So to solve it like that, what you want to do is put one of them to your right, side, and one of them facing the back. So the front of here, this is still the top, the plus is still the top, and so one of the solved sides is facing away from you, one of them is facing to your right, one of the unsolved sides is on the left, one of the unsolved sides is what you're looking at. And you do an algorithm called right, up, right prime, up, right, right prime, up. And now all those are solved. All those are lined up perfectly. Now, what I'm going to do as well is try and find a scenario where one of the other scenarios that kind of comes up relatively frequently is actually this. So one of the other situations you can come upon is to where one of the tips is not lined up. There's basically, you have two tips lined up and they're just opposite. So these ones are lined up with each other and these ones aren't. The way you solve that is go to one of these unsolved sides, turn both of these sides up, so you would follow, I guess the algorithm would be right prime, or right, left prime, up, right prime, left. And now you have all of those aligned properly. So there's a few different ways to do it. I didn't include that algorithm because I don't think of it as an algorithm, because it's literally just move both these up and turn it, and then you're doing that. Like, I don't think about it as an algorithm, but technically it is. So there's your hidden algorithm for the day. But now we have the plus, and we have all of these tips lined up. So now, the third step, arrange, align, and orient the corners. So the way we do that, find a corner that has green on it. So there's a green corner. Green, red, and yellow. And sorry about the camera doing weird color stuff. Green, red, yellow. That's yellow. So we need to find the green, red, and yellow corner, which is, lo and behold, green, red, and yellow. So that's where it needs to be. That's currently where it is. So since it's on the bottom layer, it's easy enough. We can turn it to where now it's directly under the spot it needs to go. So it needs to be elevated into that spot. The way we do that is with the Orient Corners algorithm, which what we need to do is put that on the right side of the cube. So on the right face of the cube, so this is what's going to be our front, because this is right here. The corner we need to put it into is up here, so we put it on the right face, and we do right prime, down prime, which I'm just flicking with my ring finger, right, down. And now it's up there, but it's still not oriented properly, so no problem. We just repeat it again, and it's still in there, but it's not oriented properly, so we repeat it as many times as we need to, and now it's oriented properly. And you get a bunch of different repetitions of this. So you get this one you get really fast at doing. So I'm going to show, this is the green, orange, and white. So let's go find where that goes. There we go. Green, orange, and white. So let's pull that over here. And then I'm going to run through this really fast. It's the same algorithm. It's just right prime, right, down. And you get real fast at it as you go. Like you'll start to get even faster. And this is a new cube that feels a little slicker to me, so I'm not as used to it. But nevertheless, let's find another corner with green on it. There's a green one. Green, yellow, orange. Sorry, green, yellow, orange. Green, yellow, orange. Perfect. So it's already in the spot it needs to get going to. So let's shift it up there. And if you'll see, we moved a green corner out. When you start to get used to it, you'll realize, like I'm realizing, this only needs one more one permeation, if you will, of that algorithm to be completely solved. So I'm just going to move this one to where it needs to be, the red, white, and green, green, white, red corner. One permeation of the algorithm, bam! So now we go back over here and just solve this one real quick. Again, same algorithm, just repeated, and I'm just doing it quickly, and now we have the whole top side is solved with all the corners, and they're all aligned properly to their sides. So now, because I use the beginner method, we're going to flip the entire cube over, and we're going to move to the next step. Turn the cube over, solve side of the bottom, and then solve the second layer. There's two different algorithms to solve the second layer, a right-facing one and a left-facing one. So what we're trying to do by solve second layer is get all of these properly solved. So this one's solved, the rest of these aren't. So what we need to do is find any of the edge pieces that don't have blue. So here we have an edge piece that doesn't have blue. Orange and white. So let's find orange and white. So it needs to go, this piece belongs here. So first what we need to do is whatever side is facing out, when this is on when the solve side is on the bottom, whichever color is facing out is the side you're going to start from. So we need this to white and orange, so we need to put it with the white. And then it's white and orange, so it needs to go right here. It needs to go to the left. So we use the left algorithm, which is up prime, left prime, up, left, up, front, up prime, front prime, up prime. Yeah, sorry. And now it is in the spot it needs to go. So again, we'll get some more repetition on these. So now, like here's a white and red one. Now we get to do the right, the one it needs to go, obviously white and red, it needs to go over here. So it needs to go to the right. So we place it with the color facing out that is matched up with the side. Bam. Then the second layer right is going to be up, right, up prime, right prime, up prime, front prime, up, front, up prime. And now, boom, it is solved into that spot. Bing, bang, boom. Now, we just need to solve this one last one, and it's right here. It's already about to be ready for it. Again, it's orange and yellow, or yellow, orange, we need it right there. And this is facing out, so we need to go to the left. So the left algorithm again is up prime, up, left, up, front prime, up prime. Bam. And now we're good to go. We've got the first two layers solved and the bottom and the initial side. Easy peasy. Now we need to make the top cross. Now to make the top cross, there is an algorithm, and I ended up adding it to his sheet, but I didn't end up adding it to the pictures I took. I had added it after I had taken the picture of it. So there's a few different ways the top of the cube can look when you're at this stage. One is like this, and that would mean you would need to do the top cross algorithm one time when it's oriented as a straight line, and it needs to be horizontal. If you have it oriented vertically, then just orient it horizontally, put the solve side back on the bottom, and that's your starting orientation, and you would just go front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime. And now you have a top cross. See? Top cross. Bing, bang. Easy peasy. Now, another way that it can look. Oh, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I messed that up. Oh, whoops. There we go. Okay, so front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime. So another way it can look is as a backwards L, or just these three. Again, the corners don't matter, it's just these three. These three kind of oriented like that. Obviously you can find it in whichever orientation around the cube, it can be different ways, but it's that little, you know, that backwards L thing. What we need to do with that is we make sure to orient it as a backwards L from whatever our front is. This would be this, the L needs to be facing backwards, and this is the front face. So we flip it like this, and then we do the algorithm twice. So front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime, and then you see we're at the horizontal line, so we have to do it again. Right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime, and now we're solved. And now the only other thing that you can have it, that you will come across realistically, is the only other thing you may come across is this, where the whole thing's solved, but there's only one, just the center one and maybe some corners, but there's nothing on the of the cross that's solved other than the center. So what you do then is you just pick a side and you do the top cross algorithm real quick. Front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime. And now you'll end up with a backwards L somewhere. So you just have to orient it the way you wanted and then do the algorithm twice. And then bam, you've got the front, they've got the top cross. Easy peasy. Next, you need to align the tips of the cross. So we look for matched up tips of the cross. This one's matched, this one isn't, this one isn't, this one is. So we turn the cube, nothing going. Turn the cube again, that one's matched, that one's not, no. Turn the cube one more time, that one's matched, that one's matched, that one's not, that one's not. So it's exactly like it was on the bottom. You put one of the solves, or one of the matched sides to your right, one of the matched sides facing away from you. This would be the front, and the other unsolved side would be the left face. And then you just do that tips of the cross algorithm, right, up, right prime, up, right prime, up. And now the tips are matchy-matchy. Another way this can show up is like, you can have it where one is solved, and again, you just kind of turn it, and normally you'll find it as another. But there is, I'm trying to find the other permutation of this that occurs occasionally, but I'm not seeing it, so I will let loose and go back. So we've got all the tips aligned, we've got the cross sorted, everything is everything is as sorted as it's going to be. So now we're at the tips of the cross done. Now all we need to do is align the top corners. To align the top corners, there's the last algorithm on the list. So we need to find a solved or a corner that is in the proper place. I use the word align. So there's aligning means it's in the right position on the cube. It's not oriented the proper way. So this one is both in the right position, so it is aligned properly. It is also oriented properly because it is exactly how this cube should be solved. Now, what I will do is, since we found that one, we will start with that on the right face of the cube. So the front will be here, and that'll be on the right. That'll be the upper right corner for us. And we start, and we do this algorithm of up, right, up prime, left prime, up, right. Oh no, up, right, up prime, left prime, up, right, up prime, left. And now, as you can see, this one is now aligned properly, but it is not oriented the proper way. This one is aligned and oriented properly. This one is aligned but not oriented properly. Now, before we move on, I do want to show one of the other things that can occur with this, and that is you can end up sometimes where none of them, as you see, are aligned or oriented properly. So, what do? We just pick a random spot, do the algorithm once, and then we take a look in a survey and find one like this that's aligned, but it doesn't have to be oriented properly. So we found the one. So again, we put it in our top right corner, and then do that algorithm once. Look around, and look, everything is aligned but not properly oriented. So now the last thing to do is to start from any of these corners, and you have to solve the top corners, orient them properly. We do that with the old algorithm of Orient Corners, the one we know so well at this point. Right prime, down prime, right, down. Right prime, down prime, right, down. Now, when you were working on the cube earlier, you could just turn the cube and work. At this stage of the game, it is imperative that you keep it like this, because all this shit is out of whack. That algorithm's going to keep putting those fixed. So you, instead of turning the whole cube, you just turn the top face, move the improperly oriented corners into that spot, and then you keep running through the algorithm to orient them. As you do that, it's fixing the rest of the cube that you've messed up. And now, gets ugly before it gets pretty, but there we go. Now the whole cube is solved. That only took 20 minutes. Wow. Fantastic. And I'm sure slamming on the desk is really good for the mic. Yep. And then you can learn how to do fun things like this one. This one's fun, just having the two swap. You can learn how to do the cat's eye thing. That's a fun one, having everything just one out of the way. And then you can also learn this one. Yee. So, anyhow, that's it.